Hello everyone, good evening. This is the second weather video. I did another one yesterday. I just wanted to post another update. I do have a snowfall map that I will be going over at the end of the video. But first I want to go over some of the dynamics and some of the things that I've been noticing that should be kept an eye on. So first off, this is the GFS model right now, the American model. And this is the piece of energy back here across the Pacific Northwest that's going to be creating our storm. And notice that in the latest run of the model that the piece of energy is indeed onshore. So now at this point we're getting better atmospheric sampling, and so the models will start to converge over the next 12-24 hours. So we're getting a really good idea of what this storm is going to do. Doesn't mean things can't change though, but we have a general idea. So this is this evening, this piece of energy sitting across the Pacific Northwest, and it's going to shoot to the south and east and then come back up. So I'm just going to go through this quick because I kind of went over this yesterday. Here it is now across the Ohio Valley. That is tomorrow evening around 7 o'clock. So again, this is the piece of energy that's going to create our storm. That's ingredient number 1. Ingredient number 2 is this trough that's coming out of Canada. This trough is going to do one of two things. One, it will steer this to the north and east instead of further south. And that's going to happen because this piece of energy, as I said yesterday, is able to get ahead of the trough, which means that it can come out ahead of it. And the storm comes further north. 2, this will supply cold air. The quicker the cold air comes in, the quicker a changeover to snow will occur, especially near the coast, because this cold air is going to be filtering in quickly as this storm forms and strengthens, and the trough will also work to strengthen the storm. Okay, so let's go forward. This is late Wednesday night. Now I want you to notice something else. Notice how piece of energy number 1 here and the trough are separated. By late Thursday night, now they've come together. Now it's not a strong connection, but it's something. And because of this connection, that's part of the reason, because of this connection now, by Thursday morning, you see that these little things over here sticking out, these pieces here, that's where our original piece of energy was. It's now included in this overall trough. And you see this deep dark red. Well, that means that the energy has strengthened as a result of this trough feeding into it. It's also providing cold air. And now what you notice is Thursday morning, notice how the wind, if you look at these little wind barbs here, they point into the direction from which the wind is coming from. So you see that there is a strong southwest wind. Look at how strong that is. That's over 50 knots, I believe, if I'm reading that correctly, of wind in the middle of the middle and upper atmosphere, and you're jamming that southwest wind up into the northern mid-Atlantic and southern New England. So you look at this and you look, oh, well, this is where it's pointing, so this is where the heaviest snow is going to be. So that's what we wanted to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that since this is a strengthening storm, we want to keep an eye on how far north it goes, because there can still be some variability in the track of the storm. Now, there's not really much that among the models anymore. They all take it pretty much off the Jersey coast and to the south here. But one thing that the models are diverging a bit on is how far north does the heaviest snow get. Now, I will show you this in a minute, but as we get to Thursday evening, notice how this trough is starting to be tilted from northwest to southeast. Do you see that? Even Thursday afternoon, it's more of a north to south, so it's transitioning to what we call from a neutral to a negative tilt. And as this trough does that, it's going to be pulling back moisture and throwing it across southern New England and the northern mid-Atlantic, especially during the day and afternoon on Thursday. Southern New England will definitely get some of this on Thursday nights. and see this trough's negative now, so that's why I get worried for places like coastal Maine and southern New Hampshire and northeastern Massachusetts here, I worry that they can get more snow that is currently forecast, because this negative tilt is going to be drawing back moisture, and this is also a strengthening storm. So as the storm strengthens, the precipitation shield is going to be expanding farther on north. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the surface map. Okay. So I'm going to go right ahead. Here we are. So this is late Wednesday night. Here's your storm. It's across central Virginia. We're at 1,001 millibars. Now keep in mind that as this pressure drops, that means the storm is strengthening, and it's going to drop rapidly. So you have snow starting to pick up in intensity across central southern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, and southern Ohio and northeastern Kentucky. So this is where the storm starts to strengthen. You're not going to get your heaviest snow amounts in these areas. So now here we go, 996 millibars. It's strengthening. By Thursday morning, the storm is right off the Delmarva coast. And remember I told you all that wind energy is just bashing to the northeast into the northern mid-Atlantic and southern New England as this cold air mass, which is provided by this area of high pressure, which will be funneling in cold air. You're bashing warm air into that, and then you get this explosion of precipitation. Now we're down to 988, and that's just a 6-hour time frame there. That was really quick. So I'm worried that, see, this area where you saw the darkest blue, that's where the heaviest snow is going to be. Southern New England, Long Island, New York City, central northern New Jersey, even Philadelphia, and then I would say most of east central and southeastern Pennsylvania, up towards central and eastern Massachusetts, Cape Cod, all of Rhode Island, most of Connecticut, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and coastal Maine. This is going to be where the heaviest snow falls. But I think the American model is not far enough north with the precipitation shield, based on the dynamics. Now, the European model supports my opinion in that the European model brings the snow shield quite a bit further north, actually. So my snowfall map is going to be a combination of the two. There's one more thing that I want to go over quick before I get to the snowfall map. All right, I'm only going to spend a minute on this, but essentially the idea, what we're going to be looking at now is a measure, whoops, sorry, hold on, did not mean to do that. We're going to be looking at a measure of upward motion, and what upward motion shows, it shows how fast air is rising. So the darker colors on here represent more upward motion, and the more upward motion you have, the more precipitation and the heavier it is. So let's just go right ahead. Okay, late Wednesday night, here we are. Now, I'm not going to take the time to show temperatures and whatnot, but at this point, the freezing line is probably somewhere across southern Pennsylvania, moving across towards Philadelphia and towards central northeastern New Jersey here, just south of Long Island, New York City. This is where the freezing line is. So anywhere north of here is all snow, and look at all this red and purple. So there's going to be some heavy snow falling in here late Wednesday night. And then as we go towards Thursday morning, Okay, this is the next time frame. Okay, as we go towards Thursday morning, now your freezing line is probably going to be back even farther south now across northern Virginia, central Maryland. So now DC and Baltimore are getting in on this. And then look at this, Long Island. Take a look at this. Southern Connecticut, Rhode Island, southern Massachusetts. Look at all this upward motion here. This is very, very intense upward motion. So this is where your heaviest snow is going to be. And again, I think that the GFS is underdoing the northern extent of this upward motion. I think this upward motion is going to be farther north as well, in addition to being here. And then as we go along, you see that the upward motion sticks around here through Thursday afternoon. And again, I think there's going to be more along the coast of Maine. So that's another thing we look at. Okay, so based on all of this, what snowfall accumulations are we looking at? And this is what I have here. So for Wednesday night into Thursday night. Oh, there's one more thing I gotta go over. You know, I won't show it, I'll just say it. Along the coast, I would say coastal Maine all the way down, coastal New Hampshire here, eastern Massachusetts, the Cape, of course, a good portion of Rhode Island, southern coastal Connecticut, coastal Connecticut along the Sound here, Long Island and New York City, especially along the coast, and parts of coastal New Jersey. We'll have to watch out for gusty winds during this storm. It's going to be a strengthening storm, and with a large temperature gradient because it's going to be very warm tomorrow, and then it's going to start getting cold. Winds are going to be intense. We're on the order of 15 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. Not quite blizzard strength, but pretty close. So watch out if you're near the coast in this red area. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go a general 1 to 3 inches anywhere from northern Maine back towards the southwest. I think some of northern Vermont will be cut off from the 1 to 3, maybe a coating to an inch or two up here. Burlington, I'm going to go 1 to 3. And then across a section of central New York here in the Adirondacks, north of Albany, 1 to 3, 1 to 3 back towards the south and west, and northwestern Pennsylvania, northern Ohio, we're going to go 1 to 3. Okay, State College, I like 3 to 6, perhaps a little more, because you're very close to the 6 line here. But I'm going to stick with 3 to 6 on that. Albany, I like 4 to 8. I don't have 4 to 8 here, but I'm just saying I like 4 to 8 because I think you're kind of in between here. Let's see, what else do we have? The mountains here, 6 to 12. Charleston, West Virginia, 3 to 6, I'll go with. Washington, D.C. See, I think this 1 to 3 can come down further south. I think the 1 to 3 can include Washington, D.C., and perhaps maybe even 3 or 4 inches, but we'll see. For now, I'm going to leave it 1 to 3. Baltimore, I like a 2 to 4, maybe 5. I have you in the 3 to 6 as more of a precaution because this is a strengthening storm. So right now, I'll say 3 to 6 for Baltimore. Philadelphia, I like 4 to 8 for Philadelphia. All of eastern Pennsylvania, 6 to 12. Trenton in New Jersey will go 4 to 8. Long Island and New York City, 6 to 12 plus. And the reason I have plus there is because there's still uncertainty with this storm, and I think there will be a place in here that gets over a foot. But you have to be careful predicting too much snow for this because cold air is going to be filtering in. So the snow might not be dry and powdery and fluffy until later in the day, so it might not accumulate as quick until later in the day on Thursday. But New York, Long Island City, 6 to 12. Boston, 6 to 12. Cape Cod, 6 to 12. Portland, 6 to 12. Worcester, 6 to 12. Poughkeepsie, 6 to 12. Albany, 4 to 8. I'm going to go 4 to 8 in Albany. All right, Caribou, Maine, I believe is around here, so like 3 to 6. And that about sums it up. This video is already almost 15 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. I will try to do another update tomorrow. Thank you for watching.